Ford engines are built to last. The 5.0 Coyote, the EcoBoost, the legendary 7.3-liter gas engine in the Super Duty, these are power plants that can go 200,000, even 300,000 miles if you treat them right. But here's the thing that nobody puts in the owner's manual clearly enough. It's not just about following the maintenance schedule. It's about the daily habits, the small decisions, and the things you're probably doing right now, without even realizing it, that are quietly putting enormous stress on your engine every single time you drive. We're not talking about obvious neglect. We're talking about the subtle mistakes that seem harmless in the moment, the things that don't cause a problem today, or this week, or even this year, but that build up over thousands of miles into catastrophic, expensive, engine-destroying failures. These are the mistakes that leave Ford owners standing in a shop parking lot staring at a repair estimate that feels like a second mortgage. Today, we're going through the top 7 mistakes that Ford owners make that destroy their engines. If you're doing any of these, stop right now, because prevention costs almost nothing, and the alternative costs everything. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Ignoring the oil change interval on EcoBoost engines. The Ford EcoBoost engine family is one of the most impressive engineering achievements in the brand's modern history. A turbocharged, direct-injected 4-cylinder or V6 that delivers V8 power with significantly better fuel economy. It sounds like a win on every front, and it is, as long as you understand one critical thing. This engine demands clean, fresh oil more than almost anything else Ford has ever built, and ignoring that demand will destroy it faster than you can imagine. Here's why. Turbocharged engines run dramatically hotter than naturally aspirated ones. The turbocharger itself spins at speeds up to 200,000 revolutions per minute, and it's cooled and lubricated entirely by engine oil. When that oil starts to break down, when it loses its viscosity and its ability to form a protective film between metal surfaces, the turbocharger is the first thing to suffer. Turbo bearings fail, seals fail, carbon deposits start building on the intake valves, because direct injection, unlike port injection, doesn't wash the valves clean with fuel. And then that carbon buildup restricts airflow, alters combustion, and begins a chain reaction of performance loss and internal damage. Ford's Intelligent Oil Life Monitor will tell you when to change your oil, and in normal driving conditions, it might push you to 10,000 miles between changes. But normal driving conditions, as Ford defines them, assume mostly highway miles at moderate temperatures. If you do a lot of short trips, a lot of stop-and-go traffic, live somewhere very hot or very cold, or tow anything regularly, and if you own a truck, you probably do at least one of those things, you are not operating under normal conditions. Change your EcoBoost's oil every 5,000 miles at the absolute maximum. Use the full synthetic oil Ford specifies, and never ever let it go longer than that. The cost of 5 oil changes a year is a rounding error compared to a turbocharger replacement, or worse, a short block. Mistake number 2. Cold weather. Cold starting and immediately driving hard. This one happens every single morning in driveways across the country, and most Ford owners don't even think twice about it. You walk out on a cold morning, start your truck or car, give it maybe 30 seconds to idle while you clear the windows, and then you drive away and get right up to highway speed on the on-ramp. It feels fine. The engine sounds fine. Nothing tells you that you're doing something damaging, but you are. When a Ford engine, or any engine, sits overnight in cold temperatures, the oil drains down from the upper engine components and pools in the oil pan. The first moments after startup, the oil pump is working to push that cold, thick oil back up through the oil passages and galleries to the camshaft's valve train and cylinder walls. Until that oil arrives and reaches operating temperature, all of those components are running on whatever thin film of oil clung to them overnight. That film is not enough to handle aggressive driving. Not even close. Cold oil is also dramatically thicker than warm oil. It doesn't flow through tight bearing clearances nearly as well, which means bearing surfaces are getting inadequate lubrication right when you're asking the engine to work hardest by accelerating aggressively. This is how bearings wear prematurely. This is how camshaft lobes get scuffed. This is how engines that should go 250,000 miles start showing serious wear by 80,000. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. After starting a cold Ford engine, give it 2 to 3 minutes of light idle before you put it under any significant load. Then, drive gently. No hard acceleration, no heavy throttle, for the first 5 to 10 minutes until the coolant temperature gauge starts climbing toward normal. You're not losing meaningful time. You are gaining tens of thousands of miles of engine life. This habit alone separates the Ford owners who hit 200,000 miles from the ones who need an engine at 130,000. Mistake number 3. Using the wrong oil viscosity in the 5.0 Coyote. The 5.0-liter Coyote 5.8 is a masterpiece of modern engineering. Dual overhead cams, dual independent variable camshaft timing, over 400 horsepower from a naturally aspirated engine. It's genuinely one of the best engines Ford has ever built, and owners absolutely love it. But there's a recurring mistake that Coyote owners make that directly attacks one of the engine's most critical and expensive systems, using the wrong oil viscosity and destroying the variable camshaft timing actuators. Ford specifies 5W20 full synthetic motor oil for the Coyote engine. That specification is not a suggestion, and it's not a generic recommendation. It was engineered specifically because the variable cam timing system, known as TIVCT, uses oil pressure delivered through tiny passages in the camshaft phasers to advance and retard cam timing. The system is calibrated for the precise flow characteristics of 5W20 oil at operating temperature. When owners substitute thicker oil, 5W30 is the most common swap, often because that's what a shop happened to have in stock, or because an owner figured thicker equals better protection. The increased viscosity means the oil doesn't flow through those phaser passages as quickly or precisely as the system expects. The result is delayed cam timing response, erratic phaser behavior, and accelerated wear on the cam phaser actuators themselves. Cam phaser failures on the Coyote engine can run $1,500 to $3,000 to repair, and they are almost entirely preventable. Always use the exact oil viscosity Ford specifies, buy it from a reputable brand, and if you take your Mustang or F-150 to an independent shop for an oil change, watch what goes in and confirm it's the right spec. Don't assume. Check the label before they pour it in. Mistake number 4. Skipping the coolant flush on high-mileage Ford trucks. Here's a maintenance item that sits quietly on nobody's radar until the moment it causes a massive, expensive failure. Ford engines use orange dye extended life coolant from the factory, and that coolant does an excellent job for a long time. But a long time is not forever, and when that coolant degrades past its service life, the consequences for your engine are severe and fast-moving. Coolant does 2 jobs. It transfers heat away from the engine, obviously, but it also contains corrosion inhibitors that protect the aluminum components, the cylinder heads, the water pump housing, the intake manifold, from electrochemical corrosion. When those inhibitors deplete, the coolant becomes slightly acidic, and it begins eating the aluminum surfaces it's supposed to protect. Pinhole leaks develop in the radiator. The water pump impeller corrodes and loses efficiency. Internal passages in the cylinder head begin to pit and erode. None of this is visible from outside the engine, and none of it generates a warning light until the temperature gauge starts climbing or you find coolant mixing with oil, at which point serious damage has already been done. Ford's extended life coolant is rated for 100,000 miles or 10 years, whichever comes first. But on trucks that do hard work, towing, hauling, operating in extreme heat, that interval should be shortened to 60,000 miles or 5 years. A coolant flush is inexpensive. A cracked cylinder head from overheating caused by a corroded, failing cooling system is not. Flush the coolant on schedule. Use only Ford-specified coolant with the correct orange dye formula, and make sure whoever does the flush fully evacuates the old fluid before putting the new in. A partial flush that mixes old degraded coolant with fresh coolant is only marginally better than no flush at all. Mistake number 5. Ignoring the cam phaser. Tick on 5.4-liter 3-valve engines. The 5.4-liter 3-valve Triton V8, used in F-150AS from 2004 through 2010, is a strong and capable engine under the right circumstances. But it has one well-documented weakness that owners routinely ignore until it becomes catastrophically expensive, and that weakness announces itself clearly and loudly if you know what to listen for. The cam phaser tick, sometimes described as a rattling or ticking sound at startup that may fade once the engine warms up, is one of the most important warning sounds a Ford truck owner can learn to recognize. The variable cam timing phasers on this engine are actuated by oil pressure, just like the Coyote. But the 5.4 3-valves phasers are particularly sensitive to oil pressure and oil quality. When phasers begin to wear, or when oil pressure is low due to a worn pump or degraded oil, the phasers don't lock properly into their rest position. They rattle, they tick, they make noise. And owners, conditioned to believe that some engine noise is just part of owning a high-mileage truck, dismiss it and keep driving. This is a catastrophic mistake. Worn phasers that are allowed to continue operating put stress on the timing chain. The timing chain stretches. The guides and tensioners that keep the chain properly aligned wear down. And when a timing chain fails on a running engine, which it will if you keep ignoring the phaser tick long enough, the catastrophic internal damage that follows typically means the engine is totaled. A cam phaser replacement on the 5.43 valve is expensive, often running $1,500 to $2,500 in labor and parts. A timing chain failure that bends valves and damages pistons means a complete engine replacement. If your 5.43 valve ticks at startup, address it immediately. Change the oil to a fresh full synthetic of the correct viscosity. See if the tick persists. And if it does, get to a Ford specialist before that tick turns into silence, followed by a very expensive tow bill. Mistake number 6. Running a Ford EcoBoost without cleaning the intake valves. This is the mistake that the people who bought EcoBoost engines specifically because they seemed low maintenance tend to make, and it's one that creeps up slowly over years before it becomes a serious problem. The EcoBoost family of engines, covering everything from the 1.5-liter 4-cylinder in the Escape to the 3.5-liter V6 in the F150, uses direct fuel injection. In a direct injection engine, fuel is sprayed directly into the combustion chamber rather than into the intake port upstream of the valve. That sounds like a minor technical detail, but it has a significant practical consequence. In older port-injected engines, fuel washed over the intake valves every time the injector fired. That fuel acted as a solvent, keeping carbon deposits from building up on the backside of the intake valves. In a direct injection engine, the intake valves never see fuel. They see only air, and whatever oil vapor and combustion blow-by makes it through the PCV system. Over tens of thousands of miles, that oil vapor deposits a thick layer of carbon on the backside of the intake valves. The carbon restricts airflow. It alters the way the intake charge enters the combustion chamber. It causes misfires, rough idle, hesitation under acceleration, and reduced fuel economy. And it gets worse every mile you drive without addressing it. The fix is a procedure called an intake valve cleaning or walnut blasting, where a technician removes the intake manifold and uses crushed walnut shell media blasted under pressure to strip the carbon off the valves. It's not a cheap service. Expect to pay between $300 and $700 depending on the engine and your location, but Ford recommends it as a preventive measure around 60,000 to 80,000 miles on EcoBoost engines. Waiting until the symptoms are severe means the carbon buildup has had years to harden to a near-ceramic consistency, making the cleaning harder, more time-consuming, and more expensive. Do it on schedule, and your EcoBoost will breathe freely for the life of the vehicle. Mistake number 7. Towing over capacity without upgrading the cooling system. The Ford F150 and Super Duty are advertised aggressively on their towing numbers, and those numbers are real, under specific conditions, with specific configurations, on specific test profiles. But the marketing doesn't tell you what happens to your engine when you're towing at or near the rated maximum in 95-degree summer heat, through mountain grades, on a 400-mile trip, with 150,000 miles on the odometer. What happens is that your cooling system, which was designed for the rated capacity under controlled conditions, is operating at the absolute edge of its thermal limits, and edges have a way of eventually giving out. Towing generates heat in ways that normal driving simply does not. The engine is working harder, obviously, but so is the transmission, and transmission heat transfers to the engine coolant through the transmission cooler circuit. The added aerodynamic drag of a trailer reduces the cooling airflow through the grille. At highway speeds and hot weather, a heavily loaded F-150 towing a loaded trailer is producing more heat than the stock cooling package was conservatively designed to handle over extended periods. The results of sustained overheating are predictable and expensive. Head gaskets fail, coolant boils and is expelled through the overflow. The engine suffers thermal stress that accelerates wear on every internal component. In severe cases, the engine overheats catastrophically and seizes. The solution involves several layers. First and most importantly, know your actual tow rating, not the maximum number Ford advertises, but the rating for your specific truck's configuration, including cab style, bed length, rear axle ratio, and tow package. Never exceed it. Second, if you tow regularly and at high weights, invest in an upgraded transmission cooler, a larger aftermarket radiator, and in hot climates, consider an engine oil cooler. Third, watch your temperature gauge actively while towing. Not a glance every hour, but a genuine habit of monitoring it. If the needle moves even slightly above its normal position, pull over, let the system recover, and investigate before continuing. The few minutes it costs to stop is nothing compared to the engine it saves. The bottom line. Every single one of these 7 mistakes shares the same underlying theme. They're the things that seem fine right now. The engine starts, it runs, it gets you where you're going. There's no smoke, no noise, no warning light. And because nothing is obviously wrong, it's easy to tell yourself nothing is wrong. But Ford engines, like all engines, operate on a simple principle of accumulated stress. Every time you start cold and drive hard immediately, you add a little stress. Every time you stretch the oil change interval, you add a little more. Every mile you drive with a cam phaser tick, every summer you tow without monitoring the temperature gauge, every oil change where the wrong viscosity goes in, it all accumulates quietly, invisibly, until one day it doesn't. The owners who get 250,000 miles out of their Ford engines aren't lucky. They're paying attention. They understand what their engine needs, and they give it that, consistently, before problems start rather than after. That discipline costs almost nothing. The alternative costs everything. Protect your engine. It'll take care of you. If this video helped you, leave a comment below and tell us which mistake you've been guilty of. We won't judge. We've all been there. Hit the like button, share this with a Ford owner who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.